everybody, Cinema Sickness here with this week's weekly watch, not weekly review. I think I'm going to change the name of these videos to weekly watch instead of weekly review because a lot of people were upset last week, and I've had some complaints before about reviews. A lot of people were upset last week about my review of Flight, even though in the very beginning of every video I do, I always post that there may be spoilers. I guess you guys don't read that. And even before the review started, I mean, right when I started talking about the movie Flight, I posted some words at the bottom of the screen that popped up, warning spoilers, because I realized that I had just given away the entire plot of the movie. That's kind of just how I do things. When I review a movie, I'm not necessarily just straight up reviewing it. I'm more just kind of talking about the movie. I'm just sort of saying, here's what the movie's about, here's what I thought of it. Sometimes I will just tell you what I thought, sometimes I'll tell you all about the film. I just sort of go with the flow. I start talking about a movie and just whatever comes out of my mouth is what comes out. Sometimes it's a lot, sometimes it's a little. Just all depends. And I realize sometimes I do give away entire plots of movies. That's just something I do sometimes. But really, again, when it comes down to it, I'm just talking about the movies I watch more so than 100% reviewing them. So because of that, I guess I'll change the name of these videos to Weekly Watched instead of Weekly Review, so I don't confuse people so much. Maybe then people won't think I'm necessarily reviewing the movies, that I'm more just kind of talking about them. And again, that is what these videos are. It's just me talking about the movies I've watched throughout the week more so than reviewing them. So I do apologize for anybody last week who watched my weekly review and maybe was upset that I completely spoiled Flight for them. But again, that's just how these videos go. So if you don't want to see any spoilers whatsoever, you might just want to skip over some of the movies I talk about or not watch this video or something. Because sometimes I can spoil movies. It does happen when I talk about movies. So let's get down to it. Let's take a look at everything I watched this week. And I guess welcome to my first Weekly Watched. So the first time I watched this week was The 10. Now this is a movie I picked up maybe like a year or two ago out of the Walmart dump-in just as a blind buy. A movie I had never heard of, but I saw it. It was $5, had a pretty good lineup. People like Adam Brody, Paul Rudd, Winona Ryder, and a lot more. This has a lot of very famous people in it. A lot of the cast of The State and Reno 911. If you've seen those shows and you like that cast, you're gonna get plenty of them within this movie. That's what really sold me on it, though, was the lineup. I saw the lineup and thought, looks like something I might want to check out, even though it did get somewhat mediocre reviews online. Reading the synopsis, I wasn't dying to check this one out, but again, what really sold me on this one was the lineup. And also, there's something I didn't realize when I picked this up. It says, from the director of Wet Hot American Summer. And again, you're getting a lot of that cast coming back to this film. If you've seen that movie, which is great, definitely recommend it. You're going to see a lot of familiar faces from that movie in this movie as well. And the whole premise of the movie is basically all based around the 10 Commandments. It's just a skit movie where each commandment has its own skit, but the fun thing is that they kind of revolve around each other. Each skit, you see like the first skit come into like the third one, and they all kind of take place around the same time within each other. You keep seeing things from past skits and new skits. It's rather amusing to some extent. I would say it's mediocre. It's nothing great. I didn't love this movie, but I liked it definitely a lot more than some recent skit movies I've seen. We didn't have any balls on chins in this movie, which was nice. But again, it wasn't anything special, but I would say if you like skit movies, it is at least worth checking out if you can get it for cheap. And I've seen this a lot of places for $5. I mean, places like Walmart, and I know I've seen this other places too for pretty cheap. So you can pick this one up for a good price. And again, you like skit movies, it is worth checking out. Don't be expecting anything amazing. It's not the greatest skit movie I've ever seen. There's certainly better ones out there, but all in all, it's okay. Has a pretty decent lineup, has some funny moments, and it's just mediocre, but if it sounds like your thing, it's worth checking out. The next title I watched this week was Max Steel, this year being an exclusive DVD. Not sure what it's exclusive to. I have no idea what this DVD came out of, or I don't know if it was packaged with a toy, or maybe in cereal, or was being handed out. I have no idea. One of my viewers actually just sent this to me this week. And I was pretty interested in checking it out, because when it comes to Max Steel, the Max Steel I know was from like the late 90s, early 2000s, I think. Back when I used to work at FAO Schwarz. I worked there during my last 2 years of high school and my 2 years of college. I did go to a 2-year school. I remember Max Steel was everywhere. I remember all the toys and the action, the action figures, the cars, all that stuff. I remember, I think he had videos out as well, like a cartoon series or a movie or something like that, because we used to play it in the store all the time. So that's the Max Steel I remember. And I wasn't really ever interested in that Max Steel, so I was kind of curious to see if this new Max Steel was going to be the same thing, basically again, just for a new generation. It's really not. This, I would say, has a much more kind of Ben 10 sort of feel. All about a kid who gets these superpowers. There's this robot who kind of attaches to his chest, and he can kind of beef up his powers, flying, strength, swimming, all this stuff with this robot, again, who attaches to him. And again, it has a very, very kind of Ben 10 feel. Instead of, what is it called, the Omnitrix, or whatever, that thing on his arm or whatever Ben 10 has, instead of that, it's a robot. But it definitely has that feel. I kind of feel like Disney sort of ripping off Warner Brothers with Ben 10. This is basically Disney's Ben 10. But I would say if you like Ben 10, this is certainly worth checking out. On this disc, it had a lot of weird things. It's kind of like like an introduction to this series is what this disc is. So it has a lot of like behind the scenes things, bonus clips, music videos, like an introduction. So a lot of kind of getting to know the series sort of information. But it also had 2 episodes from the series, and I certainly enjoyed them. I really like what I saw. I am a fan of Ben 10, so I did enjoy this. And I certainly look forward to checking out more. So as soon as they start releasing some actual real releases of the show, I'll be picking them up, because this was definitely fun. I'd recommend checking this out. Again, if you like Ben 10, you're probably going to enjoy Max Steel, so it's worth a watch. The next title I watched this week was A Woman, a Gun, a Noodle Shop. Now, this was a movie I was really interested in checking out, because just last week I watched Blood Simple. And this here is sort of a traditional kind of martial arts sort of Asian remake of Blood Simple. And I thought that sounded really interesting. I was really interested to check out what the director, the writer did with this film. I really wanted to see how they went about making a basically remake of Blood Simple in this style of film, and it worked beautifully. This was a great, great film. It differed enough from Blood Simple to make it very interesting, even though the plot is very similar. If you've seen Blood Simple, watch Blood Simple first before you watch this movie. I say it's required. So definitely watch that one first. But after watching that and then watching this, you're going to definitely see all the many, many similarities. This is definitely a remake. It's definitely, or maybe I'd say a retelling of the story. Maybe I shouldn't say remake. It's a retelling of Blood Simple. And you're certainly going to notice all the similarities. You're going to notice the more or less same kind of plot. But at the same time, you're going to notice many differences. Not only in the style of the film, because again, it's kind of like a traditional sort of Asian sort of film, but you're also going to realize just little things here and there were changed to make it its own sort of movie. So this was just a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it. Like I said, Blood Simple was a great, great Coen Brothers film. Absolutely loved it. And this was a great retelling of it. I'd say these go hand in hand. Watch Blood Simple and then pop this one in next and check it out. It's just as good, but it's very different all at the same time. So a great, great watch. I would highly recommend it. Again, if you've seen Blood Simple, this is one to also see. Then I finished up watching Friends, the complete 6th season. This is just another great season of Friends. As I've said through all the other 5 seasons, I'm absolutely loving this show. The last season, the cliffhanger was Ross and Rachel getting married. You didn't know what happened. You saw them come out of the chapel calling each other Mr. and Mrs. Weren't quite sure where it was going. Yeah, they did end up getting married. There's some great episodes in this where Ross is supposed to, finalize the divorce of Rachel because, it was a mistake. They don't actually want to get married. Although Ross kind of doesn't want divorce her, which you don't really know if it's because is he in love with her still, or is it because he's already been divorced twice before and doesn't want to do it for a third time, which tons of funny jokes about this in this season. So he goes through this whole mess of saying he divorced her, but he didn't actually really divorce her. Of course, once Rachel finds out, shit hits the fan, but it just adds to the hilarity. And of course, the great cliffhanger of this season is Monica and Chandler getting engaged, which is a great episode where Tom Selleck comes back, who Rachel is madly in love with, and you don't quite know what's going to happen there. Is she going to go back to him? Is she going to actually stay with Chandler? You don't know what's going to happen, but it's a great cliffhanger, a great season. Absolutely love this, just as I love all the other 5 seasons before it. It's Friends. What can I say? It's great. If you haven't gotten into the series, get into it. And the last title that I watched this week was Martial Arts Master, The Life of Bruce Lee. A fairly decent documentary all about the life of Bruce Lee. And I say fairly decent because you're really not going to learn much in the way of anything new from this documentary. That is, if you're into Bruce Lee, if you've seen other documentaries, if you've read about his life and whatnot, you're not going to learn anything new. This documentary doesn't really offer anything up that other documentaries haven't already offered us. Of course, after you haven't watched any of those, and this is going to be very informative for you, you're going to learn plenty, but otherwise, you're not really learning anything new. But what I did really enjoy about this documentary, what I would say what makes this documentary worth it, are the interviews. They interview people like Jackie Chan, they interview Brandon Lee. Really enjoyed watching those interviews. It was really nice to hear from these people and what they thought about Bruce Lee. They talk about moments in their life that took place, with Bruce Lee. They talk about, their experiences with him. I really enjoyed watching that, and I would say when it comes down to it, that's what makes this documentary worth it, are all the great interviews. But besides that, again, you're not really learning anything new. It doesn't really offer you anything much different than, again, other documentaries. But what I say it's worth checking out, yes, it is only 52 minutes long, so not a very long documentary. You're not going to have to, suffer through learning about the same stuff over and over and over again that you've already heard a million times. But it is, again, worth watching. It is a decent documentary. I would say if you have any interest in this, if you have any interest in Bruce Lee, it is worth checking out, if for nothing less than all the great interviews. So there you go, guys. It's everything I checked out this week, and as you may notice, I am coming up a little short. I only watched 5 titles this week, and 2 of them were about an hour long each, so I didn't really watch all that much, but it was a very busy week. The day we got the couch, I didn't even watch anything that day. I was very busy with that. Just had a lot going on this week, and it was just kind of one of those weeks where before you realize what's going on in your day, it's already like midnight. So unfortunately, I didn't get to watch quite as much as I usually do. I'm also trying to really work my way through Friends. I'm actually only 1 episode away from finishing up season 7 I'm on now. So, actually probably should have waited an extra day to do this video so I could have talked about season 7 in it. But I am trying to get my way through Friends, so I've been watching a lot of that at home as well. So instead of watching movies certain nights, I've been watching some episodes of Friends because I really want to try and get that done before I go away on vacation. Because when I come back from vacation, it's time to start the Halloween Horror-thon. So I really want to get the last few seasons of Friends out of the way within the next couple weeks, which should be doable. I don't see that being an issue. But it may lead to me watching less movies because I'll be watching more episodes, which I guess is fine. It'll just lead to shorter weekly watch videos. But again, that's it, guys. I pretty much recommend everything I watched this week. Like I said, The 10, it's a decent skit movie. It's not great. It's not the best skit movie I've ever seen, but it is certainly not the worst either. I would say, if you have any interest in seeing it, maybe you've been thinking about checking it out, maybe you came across it in your Walmart dumping, you thought about getting it, but you didn't. It is decent. It had some funny moments. It is an okay watch. I'd say it's worth the $5. I wouldn't pay any more than $5 for it. I'd say that should be your limit. $5 should be the limit on the 10, but it is worth checking out. Really excited about Max Steel. Can't wait for some DVDs to actually release. Or seasons even would be nice to the show. I would love some season releases. Can't wait for that. Definitely going to buy those when they come out. Really enjoyed Friends. Like I said, A Woman, a Gun, a Noodle Shop was great. If you've seen Blood Simple, which you should see, it's a great movie. But after you see that, watch that movie because it's fantastic. Again, a woman, a gun, and a noodle shop. Brilliant, brilliant film. A great retelling of Blood Simple. And the Bruce Lee documentary I checked out, like I said, it wasn't the best documentary ever. It didn't really offer much anything in the way of anything new as far as talking about the life of Bruce Lee. But it did some really good interviews that certainly makes it worth watching. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for my next video. See ya.